Hello, fellow Toastmasters. Dynamic leadership and changing trends. Under this podcast series, this is next episode. We are trying general speaking. Under this, I will explain a story or a monologue in a soliloquy format. Please listen carefully. If you like it, that means I told it correctly. Okay, let's start. Last thing I remember before passing out, that probably the glass of wine was spilled from my hand. It was just slipped. All the royal servers came. They, I noticed they were picking me up, and I was put on the bed. I, I was aware the royal surgeon was there and he was examining me. I heard Ptolemy was talking to everybody and giving the orders. They were suspecting about poison. I was feeling very warm inside. Definitely, I was under the fever. They were trying to see what kind of fever it was. Even in that moment, probably I saw Aristotle. I was not sure how he would be there, but he was my guru. Why he would be there? But probably I couldn't thought more than that at that time. My eyes were closed and the entire scene of probably of my life was opening in front of my eyes, even though they are closed. I remember my childhood. It was supposed to be a prince childhood, what it would have been. I have my loving father and my mother. My father was a great king and he was a warrior. I was supposed to be the regent to the crown. I was the heir apparent. I was named Alexander. That means the conqueror, the warrior. I was loved by everybody. I had so many special friends. My mother and I used to be very close. My mother, Olympia, she used to tell me so many stories. She told me when I was getting born, she saw a dream. And in that dream, she saw a ferocious big lion. That was such a great omen. I have seen the lion, even though it is not part of my place where I live, but I have seen that in the cage, and that was such a fantastic, fabulous animal. She always used to tell me the stories of the great pharaohs, the great southern land, and the great monuments they built. It was always in front of my eyes. I loved those stories. And I have my special friends. They were used to look after me very carefully. The prince was there and they were developing him. When I was like 10 years old, in that time I had so many trainings, but I particularly loved the cavalry. I love the horses and they were my favorites. I used to ride several of them. But when there is a prince, there is a opposition, and there are several people were even not liking me, but I never care. And they used to try to make me look down or make me fall at any given opportunity. I still remember I was around 10 plus years old, and a, a horse trader came. He brought the horse from some foreign land, and it was such a marvelous, marvelous creature. Wow. But he told us not even a single body is able to ride on him. He wouldn't let them. When my father saw that, he put a reward. Okay, let's go to the stadium. We had a big Olympic stadiums where the games used to take place. We took the horse there, and my father said, whoever can ride this, they will get 1,000 gold coins. Several people tried, not a thing. The animal wouldn't let them come near. My opposition saw that and they thought, okay, they wanted to try on me. Even I'm a prince and I was not supposed to play those kind of games. But they thought they were telling, oh, can Prince do it? He's a great horseman. I was not afraid. And I knew there are some some special elements always take care of me. My father asked, would you try it? I said yes. I was not sure, but there was nothing to look back. When the day was decided, entire population came in the stadium because the Prince Alexander was going to tame a horse which was never ridden before. Will he be successful? Almost it was like if I didn't, then my place of, as a prince would have been become jeopardized. I knew I have my friends. When the day come, somebody came near me. They whispered in my eyes, do not take the horse in the middle of the stadium. Take him on the side, please. I did not understand that, but I knew those commands or those suggestions are whispered in my ears are supposed to be followed. I did exactly. I went there. I did not try to, I did not attempt to ride. I just took that horse and slowly, slowly I took him at the edge. What a sudden transformation! That that kicking and jumping animal was almost like a tamed. It was like a calf. Such a beautiful animal. His face was like a big, big ox. And when I saw it was tame, I just went and ride. And then I took a turn. Everybody shouted. Everybody shouted my name. They knew they're the prince and who is the great, going to be the great king. I understood. The animal was feared of its shadow. So the voice was telling me was correct. When it was taken away from the middle, he did not see his shadow. I feel so good. I knew those voices will be there with me. I felt I'm there for some purpose. Even they were thinking my father is for their purpose. My father was supposed to be great king, but he was always busy fighting with the nearby city states. We have Byzantine, we have Romans, we have Anatolians, and all other Hellenic states nearby. And apart from that, there was a southern land, and we used to be always fighting. But all of us had one common enemy that used to be further after the Asia, and Those were the Persians. Those were the common enemies of all of us. I was always trying to understand. The voices will give me so many things about how the Persians are and what it is. So I was under some. I was thinking, okay, I probably I am the one who is going to conquer the Silk Route. I have to defeat the Persians. Unless we, if we want to get a sovereignty over the Silk Route, Persian needs to be defeated. Days passed. I was a young prince now. All other princes were not there in front of me. I was the best. My father put me to a great academy because a prince, a future king, needs to have a great education. That academy was the best philosopher, and that was his name was Aristotle. He was the best philosopher at that time. Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, those were the trios of the Hellenic world, and they were the best. I was admitted there. They used to teach so many things: physics, mathematics, and geometry. I was very interested. They said there is in the southern land, there is a great river called Nile, and the rivers, the the earth near the river is called Kemia. So there were chemists. Those chemists, I was very fascinated. They used to do so many wonderful things. Also, I was very interested in the geometry. I learned so many geometrical expression, mathematical expression there. We used to always used to have debate about the earth, because in the academy they used to say that sun and moon who are circling around us are round. The stars look further, they are also looks round. That means our geo must be round or at least half round. There were calculations, they have found the circumference of the round earth, if it is or it is a sphere. But it was not widely accepted at that time. But we knew that earth could be sphere. We knew how much our world was. On the west, there was a big ocean after Mediterranean, and we didn't know the outer bound of that. So theory was if it is a sphere, then the ocean should be round, or if it is a half sphere, then it may be certain things, maybe the ocean will end at some point. So on the west, there was a Roman Empire, and then there is a Hispaniola, there is a Gaul, and there's the Ira, and then there is the ocean, which we didn't know. And we knew that ocean was earlier smaller, and after that, the Atlantis, city of our Atlantis, our great Atlantis, was swallowed by the ocean due to demonic curse. What about East? East was the Anatolian several city-states. And then there was Asia, and then there is a Persian Empire. All our goods used to come from the Silk Route. What about the East? East was, there was a Byzantium, then there was Anatolia, several city-states. There was a Ashur, there were Ashurs and the Shurs, and there was a Holy Land, then Southern Land, and across there will be the Persian Empire. They were governing the Silk Route, where all our goods used to come. Aristotle told me all the geometry. He told me that on the far end of the Silk Route, there is a land of Chin. And that land of Chin has so many new things. There are so many wonderful things people produce there. And that's how they came to us through the Silk Route. Those peoples, They have a totally different vocabulary, and we need to make them understand our philosophy. At the end of the Silk Route, there is a great eastern river. That eastern river is same as Atlantic. We don't know the bound of that next of that eastern river, the other banks of that eastern river. It is very huge. In between Qin and Persian Empire, there sits a huge mountain. The peaks reach to the sky. They are over cloud. And on the southern part of the big mountain, there's a land of Indos. But if you want to get all these things, we need to defeat the Persian Empire. Without that, it's not possible. When I used to look at Aristotle, he used to be very mysterious to me. He used to look into my eyes. I knew he was my guru, but sometimes I was feeling he knew what is my purpose of my life. I'm I'm chosen one. Sometimes I felt, is he feel a rivalry? I knew my father has freed the land which he used to govern, and in return, he is giving me the knowledge. But he was the best teacher. His philosophy was the best. So I asked, so Persians are undefeated? We know, like previous century only, they came up to here. They reached up to Athens. They burned the cities. Several Hellenic and the Roman empires has tried to defeat them, but they didn't. Socrates looked through my eyes. He'd say, they will. It's not difficult. I said, how? He said, all the previous Hellenic and Roman emperors were trying to invade. No army has passed the Persian Empire, but individuals did. I did not understand. Aristotle explained several individuals in terms of caravan has passed. They have reached to the land of Indos and they have established a big culture. They have a big statues up there. They have created the image of those people. They are the father of the tribes there. Army didn't go, but the individuals has gone. I think something struck me. So why Persians? I mean, what's the difference? The Persians are the Shahs. Those are the descendant from the Mount Ararat. I told, so what? Because even Byzantines, Hellenics, and Romans, and everybody on the north of the Alps, those all the Vandal kingdoms, those are also the descendant of the mountains. So what's we told the Shahs are different, but there is a steep gradient of class hierarchy. So if you beat through them, then you will be able to reach. That all that info knowledge was very new to me and I did not get it. But I completed my education and then I came back. When I came back, things were totally different. I think when earlier everybody was like admiring me as a prince, but in between probably all my rivals has taken over and I understood my father is marrying another marriage. That means my position as a prince would have been in jeopardized. And he did. He married the Prince Cleopatra. They were saying, we want a Hellenic heir to the kingdom. I asked, isn't it Macedonia is not part of the Hellenic? I went to my mother and I asked, is Macedonia is not part of the Hellenic? What they are talking about? She did not answer. Things kept on happening, but ultimately we have me, myself and my mother has to flee, and the rivals took over, and it turns out to be disaster. My father was part of the assassination, but all my friends were there. All my well-wishers were there. I had the voices. They told me, go, you are becoming the king. I went, I marched, and I won. Nobody could do anything. People just warmly accepted me there. The King Alexander, the great Hellenic king, the King Alexander from Macedonia, the great Hellenic king. So as an emperor, I thought, okay, so we have to put all the things together. We have the nearest problems like Byzantines and the Romans and the city states, they may be fighting with each other. But things were different. I was getting the voices. I was getting voices. I need to win the East. So that was now telling me that is that the purpose what Aristotle's eyes were looking at me? I was not sure, but there was no choice. Immediately we had built the cavalry, then we had so great generals from the Hellenic army, then great soldiers from the Macedonians, and we marched. We won the Byzantium first. We went to the land of Sur, then went to south, and we crossed the Holy Land, paying the respect. There was some opposition happened in the Sinai, but ultimately I was able to reach the Misr or Egypt. I saw the Nile, which I heard those stories. I heard those pharaohs. I saw the land. When I came, it was under Persian influence, but once the king came, all the Persians were left. And I was accepted as a pharaoh. I was wondered, I'm not from the land. How those people are immediately accepted me? But they did. They called me, you are the son of Ra, the sun god. I was saying, no, I was told I am the son of Zeus. But they anyway titled me as a son god, son of Ra. They took me there, another capital, it's called Memphis. And there I met an oracle. He was such a mysterious. I was totally under influence once I saw him. The oracle didn't say anything. Probably his eyes were talking to me. The Alexander, the conqueror, the warrior, but that oracle was taken over me. I, we started some journey. I was not sure where we are going. There were two eagles were flying by us. I was told as long as oracle doesn't say anything, we should march. We went to some desert place. I was totally unaware. Probably I was trying to understand about myself, my purpose, what is happening here. Am I getting some revelation? I knew in the Holy Land there are people who get that. Am I one? I was not sure. I asked the oracle, he did not answer. Am I the chosen one? Am I the Messiah? I asked him. What is happening here? Who I am? What is the purpose? Is God chosen me? He did not answer anything. Those eagles kept flying, and I went somewhere. They asked me to someplace, and then they just crowned me as their pharaoh. I probably not understood, but I understood that okay, we have to march to the east. Those folks are idolaters, and we need to give them the knowledge. We need to teach them the philosophy. We need to make them understand the new culture. I remember that at that time I understood what Aristotle was saying. He wanted to teach them the philosophy. He wanted to teach them the God and the nature. Or does he wants to understand from them? Because those two were two different things. How that is possible when the Persians are in between? But we just saw when King Alexander comes, everybody runs away. Persians are not staying. I got a secret message from the Persian king Darius that he wanted to be friend, and he was trying to share the things even before the war was starting. How that was happening, I didn't know. I was thinking that's the revelation. Somebody's doing that, and we must. Those people who are doing idolatry or imagifying, they don't know the Dios that we are going to teach them. But how? Isn't that army will fight? I mean, the king might have been afraid. So what's happening? After reaching Memphis, I was told I have to east. That's the direction, and I crossed. I crossed the Egypt, and then I crossed the Sinai, and again the land of Shur, and then Ashurs, the several Anatolian states. They didn't do anything, and we are reaching the Mesopotamia. That land was different from the Persians, but it was under them. We are reaching there. In between all the journeys, we saw different things, different types of people, the Shurs, Ashurs, and several types of Anatolians. They were all from the mountains. Everybody was revering the Mount Ararat. The Shahs were from the Ararat. That's what they say. They are the descendant of the people from the Ararat. So, am I a conqueror or assimilator? Is the purpose of my life to assimilate? Because nobody really was fighting there. All the fights were kind of arranged. Like when we go, fights wouldn't be there. King Alexander came, saw one. That's it. We crossed the Mesopotamia. I saw the great city called Babylon. That means the gate of lion, the lion gate in literal terms. Now we are going to reach the Persians. They did some resistance, but King Darius was just running away. He offered the princess in the marriage, and then he wanted to assimilate. I think I was getting that message now. Since childhood, I knew I have to understand several things. I knew I'm the Macedonian, I'm the Hellenic prince, but they were thinking I'm like them. Everybody was liking me, everybody was loving me. This never happened before because several Roman Empire emperors and Hellenic emperors, they just look like me. They came here and they were rigorously fought. Nobody accepted, but I was just accepted because everybody thought I'm like them. We went, the king Darius just ran away and his forces took care of him. And they declared me the Shah, which was never happened before. I knew that Shahs used to be the term called only to the people descendant from the Mount Ararat. So they accepted me. I observed their hierarchy. I ordered my soldiers, all my Hellenic soldiers, my Macedonian soldiers. My army was diverse. I ordered them to be assimilated with the subject. It was feeling like it was such a great and warm people, which I never knew about. I used to heard the different stories about them, but when I reached there, the king was not there. I was the Shah there, and The people were wonderful. But the inner voices told, I need to march to east. So we moved there from the land called Arya. Then there where the mountains started. There was a great mountain where Bactria, then Scythia, and other kingdoms were meeting at that meeting point. The Silk Road, if you go to north, will go to the Chin. And if you march south, it is going to go to the Khyber Pass and then it will reach to the land of Indus. I reached there. The king who was sitting on the top of the mountain, who was a Persian, they offered me his beautiful princess, Roxana, that means beautiful face. They offered me to be the king and sit on the top of the world because that was the highest point where the king was living. They were calling Mount Sumeru. Even my generals were liking it, like everybody was so warm. It was so warm welcome. But something was not, they don't wanted that. Something wanted me to, we should, because I that time understood they were trying to become we are trying to become like an image. We are trying to become like a dayas. They were thinking we are sent from them. At that time, I saw a very different language. That language was told it's a cousin of Persian. And it was written in Greek. I was told that language is not, they don't have its own script. It is only comes through memorization. And that language is not spoken, but it is called the mother of all the language. That was new to me. How I said, how that's possible? Then I understood that language was actually came at the end. It was like this. There is a gold in the mine, and then it goes through several processes and then becomes a beautiful jewel. So the language, its name was like a culture. So it was came at the end. It has essence of everything. There were several very, very complicated books were written in that, and they were only through memorization. I went inside through Khyber Pass. I everybody we were just welcomed. There was no fight because it was not possible using the cavalry and everything. If you are passing through those kind of mountains, fight was not possible there. We were just welcome. All the kings were just accepting us, and they wanted to be our friends. We went through the Gandhara and then went inside. Now we were in the land of Indus. The Indus River was just there, and then it was going to open up a great chapter for us. The Hellenic culture will be traveling there, which earlier I was told was sent by the individuals. Those individuals was called rishis, sage, or the father of the tribes, and they have created. I understood all the gods in our Hellenic and the Romans. They were there in different form, and that language was writing about them. I understood the Homer, the Odyssey is all here, but in a different form. It was same. We went into land of we went into the land of Indus and the five lands, five river land. There was I met a great warrior, and he fought like hell. First time, only one. Till now, nobody really fought, but that person, that king fought. Because if I won, I'm going to go to the entire big reaches. When I cross the eastern bank of the Indus, a great chapter is was going to open. All the Western culture will be going to be what they wanted, what Aristotle wanted, or what the people from the Holy Land wanted. That would have been happening there. I was still not sure I'm a Dios, I'm the representative of it, or I'm a Messiah. I was not really sure. I was thinking I'm getting some two horns on my head. My horse and Bucephalus and Alexander, that was the combination. The king fought when he lost as expected because everybody, his own people were against him. But he fought. When they brought in front of me, I asked how I should treat you. The guy was prisoner, but he bravely answered me, treat me like your friend. That was such a great answer. I knew if I he told me if I become his friend, he can guide me to the eastern bank of the Indus. And there are so great riches there. First time I saw the elephant in the fighting, there was a big university. That university was equal or parallel with what I saw with the Academy of the Aristotle. And there were so many people who had a great hairdo at their head. When I was trying to understand them, I was told, stay away from them. Don't go to the east of the Indus. I was not understanding. This is my purpose of my life. This is what we did. This is the expedition we did. We crossed the mountains because this is so many people. This is land of Chin, and then this is the land of Indus. That's what we wanted. From the land of Indus, we may get the another route because the mountainous route was very tedious. Why not? The inner voices told me, you should not cross Indus. I rebelled. I was deferred. He said, you will not win. How? It's a King Alexander warrior, the winner, never lost so far. How can that possible? Voices told me, you will be the loser. You will not be King Alexander. How that's possible? They told me, they will defeat the animosity inside you. You will not be King Alexander, but you will become Indra. Indra? That means the god of king, like same as Thor, or you can become an avatar. They will write a story about you. They will, all those four holy books they have, your story will be written in a cryptic form. They will explain about your attributes. You will be imagified. All your forces will be imagified. You will get deified. That means the purpose of your purpose for what you are going there will not be served. Those, especially those people who has the hairdo, be careful because they will make you, they will write, they have such a great poetry, the poetry which is equivalent to Homer's and Iliad, the Odyssey, those kind of poetry they can write in that language which nobody can speak. You have to learn that language. And do you want to become like that? You want to become a sustainer, you want to become a guru, or you want to become a destroyer? That's the greatest, because he destroys all they will. They will call you are the avatar. Do you want that? Now there was no answer. If there is no King Alexander, I mean, once if I just pass through the east of the Indus, then there will not be King Alexander. Now I understood what Socrates was saying, what Aristotle was saying. There were several individuals has passed, but they, because I understood all the Greco-Romans, all the Hellenic gods were there. It was in just in different form. So I will become like that. So am I purpose of my life to become deity, or am I a Messiah? Am I going to follow the Holy Land? What the oracle was saying, he did not say me anything. I did not know, am I Messiah or no? I was totally confused. But the voices were very clear. My greatest friend Bucephalus died. That was such a bad omen. I lost. Actually, all our forces wanted to cross, and they knew what the life they will. But the voices said we cannot, because then we won't be we. We they will not be King Alexander. There was no choice. We stopped crossing the in-laws, and started going from the previous route. But then we were told we cannot take the previous route. We have to take a new route. Why? Because they say all your generals will stay. Your generals, they will not allow you to go. They will become new. And that's what happened. When we were crossing, we crossed a very hard way. All our generals lost. They were under different names. They were same people. They started at different tribes. Those who left, I came to Persia. Things were changed. The class hierarchy was taken over. All those people who were inviting me before or admiring before, they were poisoned. Their minds were poisoned, because now it was clear that what's going to be the purpose of King Alexander, the assimilator. The conquerors never crossed Persia, assimilators did. The assimilator is passing through what he is going to become. If he reach the Holy Land, will they accept him as a Messiah? I was feeling something on my top of heads. Two things were coming up, and they were growing. The Persians were literally told to hate. They were calling Macedonian. They were refusing to call me Hellenic king, as if Macedonia and Hellenic was different. But they were calling King Alexander the Macedonian or the Macedoni. That's what was their word. I there was we just passed whatever our generals we were losing them, and they were getting assimilated. We reached to the Babylon, the Lion Gate, where the great Sumer kings were lived once. Now, what was the plan? The oracle was guiding me that I may go, if I cross the Arabian and if I cross the Holy Land, the wise men probably understand, and they, it might happen that I may be the Messiah. But around the people, probably they were poisoned, and they were putting in me the glass of wine, and all over the fights were going on. The King Alexander had two big horns came on his head. Before passing out, that's what I remember the last. I heard, I saw Aristotle, which was very, which was very surprising. And I heard those hate words, King Alexander the Macedoni. So they wanted my horns to grow up because they don't wanted me to become Messiah. I clearly understood. They were not hating me. They don't wanted me to become Messiah or neither deity. And I think I just pass. Thank you. All right. So this was a soliloquy of King Alexander, and I was an admirer of the this historical figure from my childhood, and I always try to see what was the difference, like what are the new things, or because there are several kings, and what was making King Alexander different. As you heard from this eloquy or monologue, that he was an assimilator, and if you heard those stories, then you will see he assimilated different cultures, and that was making him great. That was making him the great motivator, and everybody was accepting it. For some time in his life, those class hierarchies were flat only at that time, and that was the great thing. So it was that's how I like him, or I looked at him, and apart from several other historical figures, but I felt King Alexander was the best example. And as we see, he has been accepted, and the King Alexander name, other than the religious names, I think the most given names to the boys and even the girls. So there are several cities named after him, and that explains. So his ideology or his the way his life, that is even today it is very very exemplary, because when we see the people who are assimilating people, they will go off. They are the ones we are looking for if we want to go to type 1 or type 2 civilization. Because once we go to the era of AI, then we can have so many advances, so many technical advances, and in that era we would like those kind of leaders will be the great one as we see. So the assimilator is the one. So that's why I like him, and I consider that as my hero. So I wanted to tell his monologue from this. If you like it, please let me know, and I would like appreciate all your comments. Thank you.